There is a moment when fighting no longer makes sense. It doesn't arrive as a decision. It isn't dramatic or triumphant, and it doesn't feel like a breakthrough. It comes quietly when effort exhausts itself. After years of doing everything right, managing carefully, staying informed, trying to cooperate with your body while holding it at a distance. Even compassion can start to feel like another form of control. Eventually, something in you may begin to notice the cost. Not the cost of illness, the cost of opposition. The constant subtle tension of you versus me. And when that stance softens, even slightly, something else becomes possible. Not because symptoms disappear, but because the relationship changes. Surrender in this context does not mean giving up. It means letting go of the idea you are separate from what is happening inside you. For many of us, this is unfamiliar territory. We were taught that healing comes through effort, through discipline, through vigilance. Even the rest is often conditional, allowed only after improvement. But a body cannot feel safe while it is being negotiated with. Safety emerges when the system no longer senses an internal divide, when the body is met as something you are in, not as something you are managing. For many people, this realization brings relief. For others, grief. Often both. Nothing needs to be forced here. Nothing needs to be resolved. This is simply a different way of standing with yourself. For a long time, it can feel like there is no space between what your body does and how you respond. A sensation appears. Fear follows. Action begins. It happens so quickly that it feels automatic. As the body is in charge and you are simply reacting. But there is a space here, a small gap, and even when it is only noticed afterwards, that gap is where everything begins to change. The gap is not calm, it's not control, it's not the absence of symptoms, it's the moment awareness arrives. Oh, that just happened. I see what my body did there. That was a reaction. At first, this noticing often comes late. That is normal. The nervous system does not shift through perfection. It shifts through recognition. And when awareness enters, even briefly, choice becomes possible. Not choice over symptoms, not choice over outcomes, choice over you. You meet what is happening. This is a subtle distinction, but a life-changing one. Most of us were taught to relate to symptoms as problems to eliminate, something to fight, something to fix, something to silence. That orientation keeps the body at arm's length. But relationship requires proximity. And proximity becomes possible when the nervous system is no longer bracing for danger. There was a moment when I stopped trying to make my symptoms go away. Instead, I imagined inviting them to sit with me for tea and cake. Not to fix them, not to negotiate, just to be with them. The symptoms didn't disappear, but their fear softened. And in that moment, there was no me on one side and symptoms on the other. There was just experience, and that changed everything. Choice in this way is quiet. It might look like staying with this sensation for one more breath, or noticing without rushing to interpret, allowing discomfort without immediately acting, responding later rather than instantly. This is not passivity, it's participation without opposition. When the body is no longer met as an adversary, it no longer needs to escalate to be heard. Signals can soften, urgency can slow, and the loop of reaction and resistance can begin to unwind. This does not mean symptoms vanish overnight. It means the terrain changes. Agency does not come from mastering the body. It comes from being in relationship with it. And presence, quiet, steady, embodied presence, is the foundation of sovereignty.